This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. We do have a quorum, all 4 board members here in the room, and Marilyn is on the phone. Proof of notice. Notice was sent out last week and is also on the notice board together with the agenda, so that was sent out. Approval of the past minutes for February the 13th, which was a regular board meeting, and also for March the 2nd, which was a closed board meeting. If I could have a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions about those minutes? There's no questions. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Approved? Okay. Stephanie, management report.
Yes, thank you. So this management report is reporting on February 2023. During the month of February, we closed on 2 homes, which was a difference. In January. We did close on 8. February was 2 homes. For the month of February, we had 57 inquiries to our 24-hour call center. This was a major improvement because in the month of January, we had 121 calls to our call center. Only 11 inquiries of the 57 for February were escalated to on-site management. Again, a significant improvement since January, where that number was 42. We had 218 work orders opened in February. 193 of those were closed, and to date, we have 49 work orders currently open. United Land's work order system is live as of February 3rd, and they are just about finished with their first initial assessment of the community and the condition of the landscaping, as well as a full irrigation assessment. They've been very attentive for their first 60 days. Community-wide annual mulching will begin at the beginning of March, which it has begun, and staging areas for that mulch are set in the different neighborhoods. To give you an update on arrears, for our accounts that are over 90 days, as of the end of February, we are $70,000 in arrears, which is an improvement. At the end of January, we were $90,000. What else? Over the month of February, we processed 27 ARC applications. 17 of those were approved, and 7 of those were conditionally approved, and 3 applications were denied. And as for maintenance and operations, our palm tree replacement project was finally completed in the North Pool and the Plaza Pool areas. We did have the grease traps in the plaza cleaned out. An electrician came out to assess the fans in the gym as well as the outdoor patio of the plaza. The electricity was repaired in both of these areas. However, the fans all do need to be replaced, so we are working on that. The fans for the gym have been ordered, so as soon as they arrive, they will be installed. Both plaza pools are heating as normal at this time. Symbiont was finally able to receive the parts that we were waiting on for quite some time. For the lower pool, the lower pool has 4 heaters. 3 of the 4 heaters are up and running as normal. The 4th heater, we are waiting for a new condenser that needs to be installed, and we're just waiting on that. It's covered through warranty, so it will not be any cost to the association. Our maintenance team pressure washed the entire entryway to the plaza, as well as the parking lot, sidewalks, and curbing. We also painted the curbing out here that's yellow. New soap dispensers were installed throughout the restrooms. We've had several HVAC companies come out to provide preventative maintenance proposals for our HVAC system here at the plaza and down at the golf club. and we've had plumbers come out to help identify the funky smell that was lingering around the plaza. They did find some piping that needed to be redirected through the ceiling in the attic, which was done, and we are currently still assessing the funky smell. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yes.
Okay, committee reports. ARC, I got a message from Gary Bennett. He's unable to join the meeting this evening. He did say the only item that they had on their report was that there is a vacancy on the committee following one of the committee members' resignation. So if anybody would like to apply for the ARC committee, please let Stephanie know and she can give you the application form. We will obviously be sending out a notice for any open positions on any of the committees so that people can apply. In terms of the legal...
Neil, online, there's a question just to follow up on Stephanie's report. What's happening with the Plaza fans?
Plaza what?
The Plaza fans?
The fans, so I just said that an electrician came out and repaired the wiring for the gym fans, as well as the wiring for the fans out on the outdoor patio. So we've just ordered the new fans for the gym, which they're going to arrive this coming Monday, so we'll have them installed next week. And then as soon as that's done, we will order the fans for the outdoor patio area and have those installed as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. Going back to the committee reports, the legal committee, our next committee meeting is April the 3rd. There are a number of items that will be dealt with on that legal committee meeting, such as the ongoing discussions we have with Down to Earth about their outstanding invoices or work we believe they did not perform during the month of December. So we've not paid those, just so everybody's aware. But that's an ongoing discussion and has got to a legal stage at the moment, but that will be something we'll be following up with our attorney. The 558 notice, which is the notice to the developer in terms of their construction defects and also the financial audit of our accounts as of August 3rd, 2021, when they turned over the community to the resident control. That is also something that we're now at a stage, having had the auditors provide us with the latest review of the financials, that we'll be talking to the attorneys about submitting that notice to Lennar, and then we'll see what we get in terms of a response. Other than that, there are ongoing legal discussions about changes to the declaration. We will be looking at a number of changes to the declaration. We'll be putting those out to the members, but this will be for a members meeting, which we'll have at the same time as the members meeting in August, the annual meeting, for new board members to apply for the board at the same time. So rather than mail out now for members for changes in the governing documents and incur that additional mailing cost, we're going to wait until the annual meeting in August and have that done then. That was all I had on the legal side, so I'll hand it over to Alan for the finance.
Great, thanks, Neil. Finance committee meeting will happen next week on the 21st. So this will be the first one in a long time. So that's exciting news. To Stephanie's point earlier, we've been in an all-day meeting on the year-end financials and the 2023, and those are coming together. So we should hopefully by the next board meeting have a summary of the financial results for 2022. And I think that's it.
Yep. Terry?
Yep, activities meeting. We got a couple activities, committee members here today. We had a meeting yesterday. We went over a lot of things. The one thing that we see, we haven't had any FSR representation come by in quite some time, probably in about 3 months. There's a lot of things that we go over in our committee meetings, and it's kind of hard to pass down every little bit of information. So we'd like to invite you guys to our next committee meeting, maybe do one before then. We'd like Peter to come, the new GM. I don't think he's here today, right? He's not.
He couldn't make it today, so that's why I'm attending.
All right, perfect. All right. So having him here, I mean, it's a good time for him to speak with the residents of Championsgate and get to know what it is they like and help us. We come up with all these great ideas, but we're hindered, for certain things. So we have a spring break thing coming up this Saturday, 12 to 3. There's going to be a bunch of games by the pools. Hopefully the weather, helps us out there a little bit. I noticed that a lot of people were complaining that on Thursdays, I believe we closed the bar down, last call is about 7:45, and we have activities going on at that time. We got bunco, we got, all these different activities outside, and people are playing games and they're not able to drink while doing it. So I don't know if there's a way we can talk to facilities. Maybe we can get Thursdays, we can close at 9 instead of 8, push that 1 hour, and then maybe on Fridays and Saturdays, we can push it and close at 11 instead of 10. That'll give people in the community more time to enjoy their events when they come to the activities, and they'll probably end up spending more money and having more fun. So that's something that we would like to see happen. Other than that, with communications, we do our activities and communications on the third Wednesday of every month. Activities is at 5 and communications is right after at 6. We are still waiting on Monica. Monica's a lady through Spectrum who's going to get us the final pricing for us to get a channel here in the community. And we would have to do an amendment to the contract to make that happen. So as soon as we get that finalized, we'll keep you posted. We just think that TV channel is going to be the best way for everybody to communicate. Maybe there's ways we can stream the board meetings and you can watch these from home. And just there's so much we can do with that. And to me, that's probably one of the best things we can possibly do. That's it.
So just clarify for me, Terry, in terms of the TV channel, this will be, as you turn your TV on, it'll come up instead of the Spectrum channel. Is that what we're looking at?
Yes, that's absolutely. So, I don't know all the functions and junctions of it, but they say they have to come in here and lay a wire for it. And then we will get our own designated channel for the community. There's other communities out there that have their own designated channel. And we would be able to control, kind of like how we control like the advertising up here and down at the golf course. So we would have this constant advertisement, everything that's going on at the plaza, everything that's going on at the golf grill, all the specials, the plaza events with the calendars. And like I said, maybe, I don't know how to do it, maybe live stream the board meetings, maybe the committee meetings, and people can watch those at home. And I just think it would be really good for the community because we all get TV, we all get the same channel. So I think it would be great for us.
Great. Okay, good. Thanks.
Terry, there's a comment online that there's 26 people signed up for the second beginners pickleball clinic on Sunday. So a lot of activity happening there too.
Yeah, absolutely. The pickleball committee is killing it. We have members here. Right? NJ's here. How you doing, buddy? Now they're doing fabulous. It's one of the fastest growing sports in America, and it's just the things that they got coming up. I mean, it's something that we should all be happy about. So.
Right. Phyllis, Marilyn.
We've had some discussions with the villas with regard to the particularly around the insurance. There's a lot of discussion about Amendment 5, and that's one of the things that we're continuing to work with the Villa subcommittee on and the residents in the Villa to get a clear understanding of the implications if we were to change Amendment 5, as well as get a clear understanding of how we deal with roof repairs and try to get the HOA out of the business of roof repairs, but also making sure that all of the interests of the villa owners is considered in the decision making.
Okay, thanks, Marilyn. Pat, on the facilities.
We talked about down to earth, we talked about the mulch, parking's ongoing, which will be included in the member meeting.
Yep.
Peter, I know you're on.
Yeah. A couple of updates. Just on parking, the visitor permits have been received. I'm looking at Stephanie. I think she should have them now. They were dispatched last week. The document change was approved by the lawyer and signed by the board. That's been sent to Osceola County for recording. Once it's recorded, then we can bring the new policy into play. And I'll next week work with Stephanie on some comms for that. Just a little bit further on United Land, Campbell and myself did a 3-hour drive through with Carrie, the account manager, this afternoon around the community, just pointing out bits of land that she didn't know that she had to maintain, and bits of land that she should maintain, that down to earth maintaining, etc., etc. So she's got now a good grip on those extra bits. We also pointed out, particularly along the front side of the golf course on holes 8, especially where we need some tidying up, and where the golf course links to the homeowner's property, there's a bit of no man's land which is not getting dealt with. Overall, they're doing a fantastic job. We're now looking at the nitty gritty, and we said at the end of their 3 months would be the point where they're taking full ownership of it all and working with Stephanie, providing reports that will come through the facilities committee. The next facilities committee meeting is next Thursday at 4 p.m. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Peter.
Peter,
Sarah?
I'm sorry, Neil. One question and something that's come up is, my understanding is the master has no, excuse me, is not permitting large buses to get onto the property, for example, picking people up at the Oasis. So that is now snowballed into a retrieving area down at the golf course. And so we see buses and that on what I call our private property, as well as a bunch of kids hanging out waiting to get picked up, etc.
Yeah.
I think we need to go back to the master and say, you've just moved the problem somewhere else, and that between the master and the retreat and all of the associations need to come up with a better solution, because right now it's not cutting it either on the road in front of like between the tennis courts and the golf course, or on the golf course parking lot.
Yeah, there was a bit of tit for tat last week where we asked them not to bring the buses into the golf parking area because people couldn't park, and then unfortunately United Land put some mulch into the master parking area, and they said, "You take the mulch away." So it got a bit of tit for tat. But I think maybe something Stephanie can at some point try and work out with the master cam, so that we don't, we get an arrangement.
Did
I think the other thing
they
also,
discuss that change with anyone?
Sorry?
Sorry, go ahead, Neil.
No, they didn't advise us, Marilyn, of that change, so we were not aware of it, so that took us a little bit by surprise. The other thing to consider as well, Peter, is that come the turnover of the master, the street that runs between West Side and Bella Sita is not county, that's owned by the master. So the strip where you can cut off the corner and you can turn and cut off, that is owned by the master. So potentially, if this doesn't get resolved prior to that, potentially there could be other alternatives by putting, barriers there, gates there, that people would need to use to access the golf and the tennis courts, if the master would approve that.
Yeah, okay.
So it's just an option.
The buses haven't been allowed since early part of 2022, because I know we had some family here who were utilising the bus and they had to get off at the gates and walk with their suitcases to the house. But no, we weren't informed about it.
Okay. Terry, covenants.
We're scheduled to have a hearing this month. Currently, there's 147 open violations, 126 of them being first notice, 15 being the second notice, and 3, which will be the third notice for a hearing. Our covenants committee had met with the staff and expressed our concerns that we had a second notice of violations open since October of last year. And so we're pleased to see there's a more aggressive approach to getting violations identified. We'd like to get them to the second stage and the hearing stage quicker. Of course, we prefer to get through the hearing stage, but they need these violations need to be addressed as quickly as possible so we can keep our community looking nice.
I agree. Terry, we've got 3 which the board is going to review today to send to the governance committee, which are the 3 that are on the 3rd notice. In addition to that, we've also agreed to take on additional resources. So there is the CAM First Services CAM, who currently covers the Champions Club, i.e. the condos just behind us here, the 168 condos. She will be covering us for 20 hours a week, and her primary focus to relieve some of the pressure from Stephanie is to focus on violations. So she starts April 1st. So that will be, we should see some increased momentum as a result of that as well. So, that should improve the situation for you.
We hope so.
Okay, thanks, Terry. Mark on the golf.
We had our meeting last Wednesday. We had a very successful fundraiser in February. We ended up, after everything was paid, about $21,000. So we have plenty to complete 16. There's a couple other projects we brought up that we'll bring to you for approval. The course has been re-rated. The scorecards have been ordered. All the tee markers are out. Basically, the course is being played as the new rating. We're finishing up this month. We're finishing up leagues, Saturday play. Everything's pretty much coming to conclusion this month. Our final major championship is a club championship, which is in a week, the last weekend of the month. Everything's been sent out on that. So we have St. Patty's Day tomorrow, which the O'Carrolls are holding. So other than that, everything's going good with the golf course.
Thank you, Bob.
Any questions?
Thanks, Mark.
Okay, that's the reports from the committees. So then moving on, old business. We did have the NPLC license on here, but we're going to pen that pending further legal discussions. So we move on to new business. And the first aspect of the new business is the recommendations for the Covenants Committee hearing on April the 5th for 3 violations or 3 homes that are in violation. And I'd like to ask for a motion to send these 3 violations to the Covenants Committee for them to review these cases and potentially fine between $100 and $1,000.
So
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions on those violations?
You don't have to say who it is, but what type of violations are you talking about? So we don't run into that. You're talking about fining somebody $1,000 for the 3rd time. Tell us what these violations are.
Okay, just bear with me while I
can list them.
Can you, have you got them? You've got the
Yes.
list, I can pull it up. I know you sent it.
Really quick before you do that, so you need to motion that you're recommending that they fine $100 a day up to $1,000.
Okay.
Okay. So we do have 3 violations that need to go to hearing. The first one is for cleaning the side of their home. It's very dirty. It needs to be cleaned and or painted. The other one is the color of the frame of their lanai screen is the wrong color. And the third one, now that you've I put myself on the spot.
I did have it on here a second ago.
Yeah, it's they have gutters installed without park approval.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask something? Okay, you're talking about without your approval. I just have a question along that line. First of all, everyone Not everyone has gutters.
Sorry, we can't hear at the back. We can't hear people who are speaking from the back.
Loretta, can you come up here, please?
Okay, I'll speak up. I'm saying if everyone has gutters, not everyone, but the houses around here in the area, that we know some of them have gutters. So if we decide to install gutters, white gutters, or I see some of them are gray, the color of the house, you mean we have to come to you to ask you if we could put up the same thing that our neighbors have? We have to
Yes,
get permission to put up gutters?
Yes,
Yes.
anytime you make any type of change to the exterior of your home, you have to submit an architectural application for the architectural review committee to look at it and approve it. Additionally, all of the different neighborhoods have different color schemes that they have to abide by. So some neighborhoods say that the gutters have to be bronze in color, with the downspouts also being bronze. Some of the neighborhoods say that the downspouts have to match the color of the home, so it just depends on where you live. But yes, that is correct. You do need to apply for any change to the exterior of your home.
That includes landscaping as well.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just amend that.
I'm sorry.
Neil, if someone wants to speak, they got to come up to the mic.
If you want to speak, can you come up so the people on the phone can actually hear?
Okay, so I've been hearing you guys talk about trying to keep everything same and beautiful, but I have an issue. One of the issues is down to earth. I stay on Fallen Oak. Came by one day and they were replacing off sod. I guess that was paid for, but they got to a point where they stopped. But the rest of the sod never got replaced. Was that going to be taken care of? Because that is a part of everything looking beautiful, right? Then I know there's is it First Services that takes care of the grass now?
United.
No, United.
I'm sorry, United Services. So they take care of the grass now. I got to tell you, the grass is horrible. It is absolutely horrible. I have more weeds than grass. And I have even stopped them and asked them, since we're talking about, beautification and, people putting stuff that's not supposed to be there, when are they gonna be taking care of this? They have no answer. So I sent something to United about sod replacement. They said, well, that was supposed to happen through down to earth. And I have a picture. Thank God I took a picture before they stopped.
All of the homes that Down to Earth committed to replacing and failed to do, the board actually approved that United will be replacing that sod. We just don't have an installation date yet, but as soon as we have it, we will be communicating it to the residents.
So how are they gonna know what houses to replace?
Because we have that master list from Down to Earth.
So my house should be on that list of Down to Earth wasn't doing their job in the first place. So my question is.
If you'd like to give me your address, I can check.
Oh, I'll definitely give it to you after this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Hello. I would just like to know how the process of the violations work. You get a letter in the mail for the first one. Is the second one also a letter in the mail, or is it registered? How does that work? And what's the time frame from the first to the second? And then I hear you mentioning a third correspondence. How is that given, and how far from the second one is the third one? And then is it after the third you have to, how does this work? And also, is everything being fined?
So our violation process right now is we issue a first letter, and then I will be doing like inspections 2 weeks later, and then a second letter would go out 2 weeks after that if it's not corrected. And then the third letter would be somewhere around 2 weeks after that, and that would be the notice of fining and hearing.
So you don't go 30 days between each incident, or if somebody comes to speak to you and say, hey, I can't get a painter for another.
No, if we issue a violation and the homeowner comes to me and says, hey, I'm working on this, it's just that my contractor needs some time, as long as we're kept in the loop, then we would not issue another violation.
Mm-hmm.
But if we have no response from the homeowner and no correction, like Terry said when he was giving his report, some of these violations were issued in October and just never followed up on. So since I've been here since December, that's what I've been working on, is just following up on the violations.
Okay, so that's how
Thank
it
you.
works. So it could happen as quickly as 6 weeks you can get fined? Is that what because you said 2 weeks?
Yes.
Well, the letter that's sent out, the third letter that's sent out, then advises them of when the next covenants committee meeting is, and that they're called to attend that covenants committee meeting if they want to appeal against the violation.
And actually, if that fining, so there has to be a 14-day notice in order to go to a hearing. So today, if they send these 3 accounts to hearing, we will then put out a notice of a 14-day notice for the next hearing, which will be on April 4th, I think.
Do these letters ever come sent registered, or are we just hoping that they come in regular mail?
They come in regular mail. We also have to post notice in a public space for the hearing. That's the requirement, is posting the notice.
So we don't send anything. I just know.
I mean, yes, we do
being
send.
in another.
Yes, I mail the letters.
So we mail them regular mail, that's all we're required to do.
Oh, really? I thought the last one had to go registered, but you would know, okay. All right. Well,
Okay,
that's
thank
all I
you.
wanted. Thank you.
So can we change the motion
Yeah.
to say that it's $100 a day, up to a maximum of $1,000 is the fine?
Yeah.
Can the homeowners
second?
be sent an email too along with
Yes.
the letter? Because, sometimes we don't check the mail immediately. There are things piling up. An email would be more,
So if I don't hear a response after the second notice, I will always send an email along with the third one, just to make sure I know that they've received it.
people are traveling,
Yeah.
they could be out of town.
Yeah,
for-
I do send an email if it goes to the third.
So all those in favour of the motion? Aye.
I'm so sorry, who made the motions?
No? Terry made it, Alan seconded.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. There was a request to approve the appointment of new golf committee members. We only as a board, need to approve the chair of a committee. So the committees themselves can approve new members. So it's up to you, Mark, to approve them. Okay.
They attended the last meeting.
Okay. The next agenda item is the Golf Grill Mobile Bar proposal.
Yes. So this proposal is from Derek, our food and beverage director. He is proposing a mobile bar for the golf grill.
Why?
His proposal says, currently, we are limited in what we can offer for mobile beverage options during events. A mobile bar will create the ability to ice down garnishes, offer more products, and securely lock product for outdoor events. Marilyn, I know that you had some questions as well via email that you wanted addressed. So I sent those to Derek, and his response was, ultimately, this is the first of many pieces of mobile equipment to come if we want to launch a successful catering operation. There is an increase for outdoor option, which many guests are opting for. This option puts additional pressure on the team without the proper equipment available. The current setup does not provide the ability to sell fountain soda, have a dump sink, lock, and is borrowed from RJ. If he needs his podium for an event, we will be unable to provide a mobile bar option for the guests. Derek said that he would work on gathering data for profitability on this option, but for reference, on soda alone, a 12-ounce soda is over 50% cheaper from a bib as opposed to bottled.
Can I ask a question real quick about this?
Sure.
Please excuse me, because we played a lot of golf tournaments the past couple months. I mean, some of our tournaments have about 128, 144 people in them. And we have one golf cart girl out there. All right, so when we go out and play, we're out there for 5-6 hours at a time. We may see the cart girl 1 or 2 times when we go out there. So I'm looking at the prices of all this stuff. I mean, wouldn't it be better just to get another beverage cart? And use it during tournaments so we can operate on 2 9s instead of 1 9, and it's mobile and you can utilize it just like you can use this.
Can I ask Mark to respond to that?
We haven't received the first beverage cart yet.
Right.
So we're still waiting for
That's what I thought.
the new beverage cart that was ordered almost a year ago. So it'll take another year to get another one. Then you got to staff it. Is he just comparing the price for bottled pop to carbonated pop? Is that what?
I mean, that was just a quick
This is
comparison.
new to us. This has never,
This is just
it's
a,
never been brought up to us.
Oh, okay.
I know we're waiting a year, but please excuse me for not knowing. Can't we just go down to Arts and say, hey, we need a beverage cart and let's buy one?
Because I think you could put coolers out there
Right.
and, you know, basically,
Basically what I see here is basically this is going to roll out from the clubhouse and they're going to work from there. I mean,
Jerry, I think what they're trying to get at here is they're doing the outside service for the food and the beverage after the event. It's not having to have everybody go inside the golf club and then being able, they did a makeshift one for member of Youst and then for the last tournament.
It's just to create like a satellite bar for the outdoor area because it gets so busy after inside.
I think that's what they're getting
I
at.
think we need a cart first.
So my question then is, it'll be used what, half a dozen times? I guess it could potentially be used up at the plaza if we needed it as well for a large event. I'm kind of looking for a map. If this is the beginning of many things to come, then I'd like to see something strategic laid out in terms of what the plan is. I have said in other meetings, we need to understand the profitability down, or maybe at this point, lack thereof, down at the golf grill and what we're doing about it. I have no qualms with this addition and this request, but we need to get a little bit more, strategic and not be ad hoc and have a clear understanding of how this stuff is going to get paid back. Like, is it going to get paid back in 6 months because we're going to use it for 5 events that we expect to, whatever. We can't keep getting requests for stuff that don't have the financial payback information. I get all the freezer things that we needed down at the golf course because that was a health inspection issue and that's a no-brainer. But as we start to expand, we need to get strategic and we need to understand the priorities and we need to understand the payback.
And I'd like to see these sorts of proposals put through with, liaison with the various committees as well, because that's really how the process should work. The committee, working with the committees for them to come up with the recommendations for these kinds of proposals rather than ad hoc. So,
but Neil, we don't have a food and beverage one anymore. So that's to me where this would come from, not necessarily just from golf, but whether that's time to come back to reevaluate.
Derek was here to answer the questions that might help too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and that may be something to take away. If First Services staff management have recommendations, then they really should be here to present those recommendations. So I think take this one back. If that's.
I have just provided that information to the leagues. They will be here moving forward.
Okay.
Yes. He said that one was already on order, right?
Please come to the mic.
Approve the order.
No, we have. So we do have a golf cart. We do have a drinks cart that goes around. It's not an ideal one. It's one that we patched together. Under the current lease for the golf carts, we have a new one on order, and we've had it on order for a long time. The board has approved the cost of it. The board's approved the cost of it. We're just waiting for it to be delivered.
Board approved first, right?
Yeah.
What's the problem with bringing, it's already approved, but we haven't received it, so we don't know what the strategic savings and costs and savings, but it's been approved. Once we get the first one in, then we should look at bringing in another.
But
This is a different thing, so.
there's no excuse for waiting a whole year to receive this.
Go ahead, Mark.
We have a beverage cart operating on the golf course now. We lost, the lease came due, ran out on the old one. It was reordered for replacement. Now we're using a made-up beverage cart till the other one comes in.
A year.
So we've
You
always
guys
had,
waited a year to receive the replacement.
Neil,
chain
let
issues.
me-
It's
can
not
I
on us.
comment?
Meeting.
Come on, you can go.
Yeah, Marilyn, if you want to comment, can I ask Marilyn to comment?
Two things. If you want to speak, you need to come to the mic for the rest of the people on the phone. Having said that, please don't forget, we got those golf carts early. The golf cart and the beverage package were ordered well over a year ago. They were supposed to come in April. We were fortunate enough to get the golf carts early. So now we should be aggressively pursuing, and I assume RJ is doing this, the timing and delivery of the beverage cart. There is one beverage cart out there, as Mark said. This is to replace one that needs a new muffler and many other parts that'll probably be held together by duct tape by the time we're finished. And then if there's reason to believe we need another one, they'll go through this process.
So what are we suggesting? That this goes back for Derek to come and present at the next board meeting?
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
Marilyn said also,
Yeah.
like a plan of how it's
And a
gonna
plan of not
make
just,
us money.
not makeshift, but, yeah, I agree, a
How it's worth it.
strategic plan.
It's 10 grand. It's a lot
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, this is 1,700 grand.
1,700.
You guys are looking.
No, I'm talking about, well, everything that, I get it.
Okay. So moving on then to the next agenda item, which is golf grill gratuity proposal for abandoned tabs.
Yes.
So, go ahead.
So this proposal is also by Derek, our food and beverage director. He's had quite a few incidents, not intentional, where there's a big event happening and members are walking out on their tab without closing them out. And currently here at the plaza, we do have a thing where 18% gratuity is added. There's nothing like that for the golf grill. He's not proposing that get added to the golf grill, just that if tabs do get left abandoned, they can close them out with adding a gratuity. Because what's happening right now is the staff is having to sit there and call at the end of the night or the next morning all of the members who've abandoned their tab. And most of the time they end up having to close them out with no gratuity.
So the question is, do we need to put a sign up as well to make sure that people are aware that this is what we're going to be doing?
And do, yes.
I think more than 18% should be, if they have to go and research it, they should be dinged for 25% gratuity.
Yeah, sorry, Mark, do you add
what's the difference of the plaza and the golf course? The plaza is an 18% automatic.
It is.
So why couldn't the board just, any tab that's why can't the board just pass an 18% on the golf course grill too?
I think, I guess we could, but I think there's been a pushback historically because the golfers tend to tip more than 18%. And so the servers might be adversely impacted if we put 18%, then the members will just think, well, the tip's already on there rather than adding the tip. And I think that has historically been why we've not addressed this one. We've left it.
The salaries, I think, are also a different structure at the golf course versus the plaza.
They are.
I think the plaza ones, the 18% becomes a fundamental part of their total compensation, and down at the golf course, I think it's not quite such a total comp thing.
So that's the reason.
And the other thing is, we're not required to have cards on file down at the golf course. And if we did have cards on file at the golf course at this point, there is no process to send out statements for people to validate what's getting charged to their credit cards.
Sorry, NJ?
Is there a food and beverage committee or it's only direct?
We did have one, and I don't know why. I mean, it was decided, maybe 9 months ago that we would just have an activities committee and we wouldn't have a food and beverage, but maybe it's time for us to re-establish a food and beverage committee.
Yeah, and given the comments that are done, it seems very pertinent. Sorry.
We kind of left it to like the golf committee to do the golf stuff and then the social to do the plaza, but maybe we need an independent food and beverage
It was
committee.
also more, we had a food and beverage person that was, and food and beverage was the forte of First Service. And they were going to deal with anything to do with the restaurant stuff from a strategic and, profitability perspective. So that was the other part of it.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think we need a food and beverage committee?
Well, here's the thing that I don't understand is the Monday, let's just take the Monday menu, for instance, right? Is hummus still on there? Like, I talked to the bartenders and they said there's no more, they've never sold more than like 5 hummus platters on a Monday. So my question is like, why is that still on the menu? Like, why don't you change the menu and give people what they want? We talked about an activities committee yesterday. Please excuse me, I'm not trying to go off topic here. Why don't we have a little hot dog station right there? $3 hot dogs. Why don't we have bags of chips? Why don't we have a little pretzel thing up there? Get a little hot pretzel, dip it in some little nacho cheese, good to go. Like if Mondays is gonna go limited, let's give things that people are gonna actually eat instead of keeping hummus on the menu.
Terry, I think you've got some great ideas there. And one of the things online here is also maybe we should move some of the activities to slower nights during the week. Like instead of things on a Friday night, move it to Tuesday or Wednesday or something. And we've had at the board email address, we've had some of the residents raise the question about Monday lunch because they used to come in for lunch after their pool yoga. So maybe it's time, and I don't know the results of the impact of adding liquor to the food credit side and whether that's had the desired effect. So perhaps it's time to review the whole program and have, whether it's an ad hoc committee or not, review the program and say, should we now open on Mondays for lunch if this, and move bingo to Tuesday nights so we can attract more for that, and see what options there are to optimize things.
So I think I'm hearing we probably need to re-establish a food and beverage committee.
In the hours of the.
Which will look at the hours of the,
We can't have last call during bingo. I mean, come on.
And then what we can also do is set up a survey. Send out a survey to take, for those who come in on Monday, Tuesday, which days, to help the committee make executive decisions.
So the point from the audience is that we have a survey, but I think we want to have like a committee to establish the survey and decide what to go out. So,
Megan's not here. She's the chair of the activities committee, and she and Nicole are supposed to be working on this survey to give out to the community to see what you guys want.
Yeah, can I make a comment on that? So when you do a survey, people are going to react to what they either think or I don't use it on Mondays or something like that. When you look at it from a marketing angle, when you put some product or service out there and you promote it, so let's make it Monday Madness or something, then you're getting a lot more interest and automatically people will pick up. So I think you need to do the survey after I guess you need a committee basically.
Yeah, I think we do.
Kind of, formulate.
So if we're all in agreement, I don't think we need to do we need to motion to approve a new committee? I don't think so. No. So can you send out?
Who's it going to report to you?
I'm sorry?
Who's the committee going to report to? The board or to the activities, or what's the committee? Who's the committee going to report to?
I think it should be a standalone committee reporting into the board.
Agreed.
Just a food and beverage committee?
Just a food and beverage, like we used to have with Larry Bickle chairing it.
I think they should also communicate with the activities.
Oh, it should be, they should be joined at the hip. Absolutely. I agree that they should be connected because the activities is going to drive what people want at the food and beverage as well as the golf.
Together.
Yeah.
Correct. And the tournament and the teams.
Agreed. Okay. So we can get something out asking for volunteers.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
So back on the 18%.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We drifted a little bit there. So, Do we have a motion to approve the recommendation to adopt 18% and close out members' tabs that have walked away from the golf and not close their tabs out?
I think, I think you should be able to automatically close out the tab, but the tipping, the server can work harder at finding the customer before they leave if you don't include the tips.
Yeah,
They work harder at taking you down.
if there's a big event like tomorrow, we've got the St. Patrick's Day event, there's 120 people there, plus other guests. It's really tough when there's 2 or 3 servers to do that. I appreciate the point, but I think it's tough. So, do we have a motion?
Are these repeat people that continue to do it, or is it, like, I get people get tired, they want to go home and it's a long lineup, but I mean.
I don't think we have that data.
Marilyn, so I think I'd raised this after our event this weekend where we had 7 or 8 people Friday night, the same on Saturday night, same Sunday night, different people. It's just people forget that, they've got a tab open.
Yeah.
Well, I think it should be more than 18% then. If they're can't be bothered to wait around, then our staff shouldn't have to, eat into their personal time to figure out who to charge them.
Well, I think the standard up here is 18%. I think it would be reasonable to adopt 18% down there as well. And, sorry, we have a question?
Is that 18% on all charges or just abandoned charges?
Just abandoned.
Just the abandoned charges. Okay, so can I have a motion to approve for the golf grill to close out members' bills who do not close them out themselves and add 18% gratuity to that?
So moved.
Have a second? Okay.
Can I just make one comment? Make sure you do a posting.
We will.
People go inside, they see that.
Yeah.
That's why I said we should have a sign
I have to
there
put it on the sign.
to make sure people are aware.
I already made a note.
Yeah.
Add signage.
All those in favor? Richard?
Cart too?
Well, if they don't close out the bill on the cart girl, then yeah.
But are they 2 separate bills? I'm trying to remember. I mean, I've done it where I've forgotten to close out it, and I've chased the girl down a week later, trying to find her whenever she was working to give her money. But is this, are they 2 separate tabs? I don't know. Or is it one tab?
It's one tab.
So
It's two separate tabs, Neil. So
Savannah's tabs are different than Sandy's tabs.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, in
It's
terms
separate.
of the servers, yes, they are separate tabs.
And I seen Allison chase some guys into the parking lot the other day to get them to pay for the tab. I'm telling you, she'll get feisty and she'll give them the pay, so.
Just throwing it out there, just in case. Does this open up where now people might be like, well, let's just go. We don't need to close, we don't need to stick around and wait for our server or go up to the bar to pay our tab because they're gonna close it out and put the 18% goodbye, let's just leave.
So the point from the audience is that, does this encourage, well, maybe encourage people is a bad word, but people may think, well, they're going to close it out anyway, so I'll just walk away and leave it.
That's why I think 25%, it's got a bit of a
Maybe
punitive.
if we see that happening, then maybe we do what Marilyn said and we increase the gratuity on those ones that behave badly like that.
Yeah. So get a sign where you can have little like numbers that you hang up, 18%, 20%, 25%.
Yeah. We have another question?
Is this for the plaza as well?
No, this is just for the golf grill.
Okay.
Because the plaza, we already have the credit cards on file and it's already a process, and the 18% is automatically added to the plaza bills anyway.
Okay.
The gratuity. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, unanimous. Okay.
Marilyn, you're muted.
She
What
waved around.
number did we decide on? 18%?
And now the last point on here in the new business is events and activities payment proposal.
So this proposal is from Nicole, our lifestyle director. So the objective of this is to utilize an easy payable option for lifestyle events separate from the current POS system, which proves to be very difficult to set up independent events. So currently, if a resident wants to sign up for an event, say New Year's Eve, like the New Year's Eve event, they had to pay with either cash or check. So we have two options right now, Event Groove and Event Bright. Event Groove is a trusted preferred vendor with First Service Residential. So she is recommending Event Groove. Also, the cost is better as well. So this would actually cost the association nothing. But what Event Groove does is it provides a link for the residents to click on, and it brings them to a web page that has all of the promotional material for the event, and then they can purchase their ticket right there online. And there's no cost to the association because the cost for their service would be built into the ticket. So Event Groove charges 2% per ticket price plus 50 cents. And that's it. Event Bright, it's a little bit more, it's 3.7% plus $1.79 per ticket. So she is recommending Event Groove. Additionally, we did go on both of these sites, and Event Groove is a lot more user-friendly, and it also looks a lot better because, like I said, it allows you to create your own web page for that event. So you can put your poster on there, all of the event information, contact information, and again, the residents can just click a button, enter their credit card information, and purchase their ticket right there online. And then they actually deposit all of the money directly into our bank account. So there's going to be no having to transfer funds and all that stuff that we're currently having to do with our current POS system.
So question, will either of these interface with the 3 POS systems we're looking at moving forward with?
So it is something completely different. So I don't know the answer to that, but this is just a temporary solution until we have the new POS system in place.
So is there a membership or year-long commitment?
Nope.
Is there a termination?
Nope.
No?
Nope. It's a use it as you use it
And then stop when you.
and stop it when you want.
Okay.
So the risk is if this is a better application than what the lifestyle module of the POS is, then we got a choice to make. Do we maintain multiple things?
Yeah.
That might be the answer, right? It's no different than you got to fill out a United work order. You got to have gate access for the gates. You might have an app for Event Groove. You might have an app for whatever point of sale system we end up with. Ideally, the fewer we have, the better, but.
And even that, if we get a new website with our new POS system, it would simply be a link on that website that brings you to the Event Groove site. It would just bring you to the one page that advertises that event.
Okay.
So it's not using different.
Stephanie, sorry.
Go ahead. No,
Did
go
I
ahead.
misread the 10% service charge for Event Groove? I thought I read it in the.
Yeah, so that 10% is only if you want to purchase a handheld ticketing device, which we just put that in the packet as it's part of their program if you want to do that. But if you just use their web version, it's just the 2% plus 50 cents.
So if, for example, I'll go back to, we're going to have the kids' Easter egg hunt or something.
Yeah.
If we have that as free tickets, which doesn't cost anything then, and all you're looking for is how many people are coming, and then the food and beverage gets tacked on later. So for example, family of 5, 2 adults, 3 kids, but it's a free ticket because you're going to charge them for the food or some kind of charge there, or the ticket's going to be the cost of the meal, in which case they pay the service charge on that.
I understand. So for an event that's free, but they're just paying for the food and beverage, we would charge that through our current POS system because that's what food and beverage currently uses. This is only to use, this is to only utilize for events that have ticket prices.
So like a New Year's Eve event.
Like a New Year's Eve event, or so for example, Nicole is gonna start doing yoga classes. So she's going to charge, say, like 10, like she has to pay the yoga instructor like $12, right, $12 per head. So the ticket price will be $12 plus 2% plus 50 cents. So it'd be like 12, whatever that math is.
So we pay more, we pay more money.
Right. But you can't give it away free, because when you pay, you commit. So, right now it's a discussion of percentage, right? This extra fee. Is that the extra fee that?
That's 2%.
Right. I mean, the association could opt to pay for that. That's just their processing fee. But the way to make it at no cost to the association would be just to build that 2% plus 50 cents into the cost of the ticket.
Right, $13.
Yeah.
Is that easier for you guys to manage everything?
Yes,
So
yes,
that would-
because currently we're receiving cash.
It's gonna cost us one way or the other.
Right, so currently we're receiving cash and checks, and we have to process all of that. We have to deposit checks. We have to deposit the cash, and then we have to transfer the funds into the correct bank account, make sure it gets posted correctly. Event Group does all of that on their end. So every week they make a deposit into the bank account you want it deposited into.
Why did we just do this like 6 months ago when you guys got here, or a year ago?
Because I've only been here since December, I don't know.
The question around, so if there's an event charge cost of $10, so there'll be a 2% charge plus 50p per ticket.
Correct.
But I'm charging that to my credit card.
Yep.
Do we, the association, get the $10?
Yes.
Because if we process that today through a credit card, we'll be paying
Right.
3%
You're getting,
credit card fee.
right, you're getting $10 and Event Group is getting 2% plus 50 cents.
And they're picking up the credit card fee.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what they're processing.
Okay, so then we're saving money by doing it that way, rather than having us process credit card charges ourselves, where we get charged by the bank, by the credit card processor at 3%.
Yes.
Okay, so then this is, for me, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It is a no-brainer now that you've answered my 10% question.
Yeah, okay, so can we have a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
second, Marilyn second. Any questions? Otherwise, all those in favor? Aye, unanimous, done. Okay, that was the last agenda item. We will open the forum up for any questions that anybody in the room, or if there's any questions online, Marilyn, that
There's a
anybody may have.
couple online.
Can we
One I
go online
just-
Yeah, go online.
Go ahead, Marilyn.
Just the suggestion of moving some of the activities to, evenings during the week, like bingo, et cetera, and such that we don't have multiple events on the same, or multiple activities on the same day. A comment, then one comment, and I don't know if you'd know the answer, Terry, how could the channel work for people that are not at their homes? Can they stream the country club channel? I suspect it might be able to be streamed if you can stream your Spectrum remote.
Maybe on the Spectrum app.
Mario, would
maybe.
you know that question?
I couldn't hear very well, I'm sorry.
Everybody, this is Mario right here. He's on our communications committee. They're asking, so if they're not in, so if we get the community, when we get the community channel, let's say they're in Canada, would they be able to have access to their channel while they're in Canada to see what's going on in the community? Is there a way to stream it up there or anything?
Could they go in on the Spectrum TV app? Because I've got Spectrum TV app.
Have to be connected to Spectrum Wi-Fi.
I don't believe Spectrum, if they allow that, I mean, we can rebroadcast it if we have their permission to do so. I'm not sure what the terms are with that. We would have to
So
look at
the problem is
We'll have to
we're gonna
look at
the
that,
same
Marilyn.
Channel
We're not
used in
sure.
communities all over.
They're not sure. We'll look at that. We'll take that question away.
It's doable.
Okay. One other comment, there needs to be communications between golf course activities and plaza activities. Comment
Well, I
about.
think that's been done in terms of, I think Faye is now working very closely with Nicole. In fact, I think she's now reporting into Nicole. So there's that linkage between the golf and the plaza in terms of event activities.
And then another comment about lunch at 1 o'clock. When the plaza opens, you'd miss the dinner crowd. They'd like to bring back lunch at noon, so another consideration for the food and beverage group.
Yep.
Can we do a base menu change for the plaza? We've had the same menu for well over a year. Again, another thing to be considered by a food and beverage committee. Lunch needs to be open from 11 to 12. Eating late runs close to dinner. Another comment about the hours. Check when meal is served in case they get busy. I think it goes back to the comment about running the tab down at the golf course, which most people do, just run a tab until they're ready to go home. Was anything mentioned about the planning around the curb replacements in Country Club 5? There are many, many sections that were ripped out all at once, including directly in front of the driveways. There will not be many options for parking during some parts of this. I'd just like to know what the plan is so that we can adjust accordingly.
So I actually have a phone call tomorrow with Lennar about that. They did call me yesterday to let me know that they're doing the majority of it like this coming week, but they didn't have all the details, so I have a phone call with them tomorrow morning. And whatever information I get will go out in my Friday update tomorrow.
Thank you. Friday night, we just going back to the coordination of events, we had golf and live music at the plaza, so conflict there. The plaza should be open on Mondays that are holiday weekends. And what is the status of the new parking rules? Haven't seen towing signs yet. Was it effective March 1st? Peter, I don't know if you have something to add there.
No, just what I said earlier, that we're waiting for the county to officially lodge the declaration, which has been sent to them. Once it appears on the official records, then we can move ahead with the parking. I did see the comment there. Actually, the towing signs are already posted. They are at the Master Gate entrances. They're not at the country club. They're in the Master Gate entrances, and the lawyer has approved that, providing we use the same towing company, we're good to go.
Thank you. That's it online, Neil.
Okay. The question in the room.
All business. What about, where are we standing at the light down here, Ronald?
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
The light at Ronald Reagan.
Oh, the lights at Ronald Reagan. In terms of the Ronald Reagan, I mean, I probably know as much as you do in terms of they said they were going to be putting them in this year, but when that's going to happen, we'd have to go to Polk County and ask the question.
You know, that's a question worth answering.
Yeah.
And I mean, we do have a board, someone should be curious enough to ask that question. I've never seen such a bad traffic situation in all my days. Are we waiting on somebody to get killed down here at this intersection before we hear enough to inquire? I mean, I don't see the police around here. They speed through here like this is the Indianapolis 500. We walk just about every morning, and I can tell when somebody is courteous enough to go the speed limit, they go over the double yellow lines. And the police presence here sucks. I mean, we would have to be careful that we don't get caught up in what we're asking for, but why would we speed through our own community at 60 miles an hour if the speed limit was down at 45 or 40?
25.
20, that's even
well,
worse.
Except for west side.
West side is 40. West side is 40.
But inside the community is 25.
Yeah.
But they speed through here. I know. I've been to speed. They come through here at 45 and 50.
So the question is when, just for the people online, when do we have any information in terms of when the lights at Ronald Reagan, at the intersection of Ronald Reagan and West Side, are going to be put in by Polk County? We don't have an update on that, but I've got a note to follow up with Polk County to see if we can get an update on that. In terms of speeding in the community, obviously within the country club, we can manage that by putting speed humps in, by putting the ribs in, the signage. We've done all of that. Outside of the gates, it's the Master Association. That's not us.
I'm not worried about the speed here. I'm talking about that crosswalk up here. That's west side.
Oh, the west side, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. They don't stop at the crosswalk. They sure don't. We stepped into that crosswalk and we did the jump back.
I know. It is dangerous.
And kids are catching the bus up there too.
Yeah.
In my development in South Florida, what they did was they would hire a policeman to sit in certain spots in the development and then ticket who's speeding. So we actually have somebody in here working on that. Then the word goes around and people start.
Yeah, I mean, the point was made that in other communities, they do have the police or the sheriff there on site to ticket. I mean, we have obviously the Safety and Security Committee, which is a committee that is run by the Master Association. We do have the Florida Highway Patrol that comes in and tours the retreat community. It doesn't cover us, and it's paid for by the retreat. Now, the country club could also equally look to the sheriff's office to have them and the off-duty sheriffs or the off-duty highway patrol come in and do that. But there's a cost to that, and the cost is not inexpensive. We've looked at it previously, because we're competing against Disney and the likes, who pay top dollar for those off-duty sheriffs to spend their time at their theme parks patrolling there rather than coming here to our community. So I know it's an issue, but if you want us to pay for that, then, that's...
No, I think we pay through our nose.
Yeah, I know.
What about just the kind of police?
Say
None
what?
of you know the chief, you don't know the lieutenants or the sergeants. Nobody can come out here when they work an 8-hour day or a 10-hour day. They don't have a car that can give us a courtesy and sit out here. It wouldn't be money in our pockets, it would be money in their pockets to ticket some of these guys.
Yeah.
But especially these big trucks, they come through here flying.
It may be again, another question might be for us to invite the sheriff in to talk to us. I know they're heavily understaffed. We know that, that they have job recs out there. I think they're understaffed to how many?
43
understaffed. So
Deputy position, I Captain Molina go to the safety and security meeting with Mark.
Oh, you did?
2 months ago, like a month ago.
Okay, so maybe we bring him in here,
Captain Molina,
and ask him the questions. So I think we can do that.
Yeah, we can also ask him to put a decoy car. There's nobody in there, it's not really working.
Yeah,
But
just
the
park the car.
presence of the car is enough to cause people to stop.
That's right.
Well, the master must have coordinated with Osceola, because they put that speed sign up for 3 or 4 days that was out on Oasis Boulevard.
Yes, yeah.
So somebody did something. I doubt the sheriff just did that on their own.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll follow up on that at the back.
I do have some information about the light over at Ronald Reagan.
Oh, okay.
I was the one that did the interview with Spectrum back August of 21, and they said it would be 2 years. Polk County committed to 2 years to have it in, which would be this August, would be the commitment.
Okay.
So, but I also, on a related question, I called them and asked them, or I asked Osceola County about traffic issues on West Side with the backups that we get, trying to get in here. And they tie up the road, it's 2 lanes, and people go out into the wrong lane to get around, and there's people almost hitting head on. They're going up onto the grass, and almost hitting people that are walking. And they said it's up to the developer to finish that road into 4 lanes. And who would you take that issue up with? Is that
that would be Lennar.
Or does the Masters Association deal with that? Or
It would probably be the master.
It would be the master.
But what's interesting is, again, this might be urban legend. What I heard was one county wants to extend it, Osceola, they want to make it 4 lanes, connect west side, and have a nice pass through, which we may not want because it'll bring more traffic. Polk didn't want to do that for the last, because they own like 150 feet from the end to
Ronald Reagan.
Reagan,
Yeah.
let that property line go through. My understanding is Polk does not want to extend it to 4 lanes, so the 2 counties aren't aligned, so one doesn't want to extend it and then have everything merged out into 2. And the other urban legend was that Osceola wants to extend west side all the way through to 192, but there's some homeowner who won't sell their land, and they're trying to do eminent domain because right now, if you drive down west side, it dead ends, whether you're going down 192 on ours. But the ultimate goal, I think, by the county is to have that open up. Now, if that opens up and it's 4 lanes, west side is going to be insane because people who don't want to go on 27 or I-4 are all just going to be coming right down there. So personally, I don't want to see a 4-lane west side. I know we get those back. I'd rather see a different solution to that, send people to the 27 gate or something rather than widen west side.
Well, what I was going to recommend, once I found someone to tell about it, is say, why don't they just make it 4 lanes for about 1,000 feet from the intersection either direction, so cars can get by while other cars are sitting in turn. And then it'd go down to 2 lanes at the other end. We wouldn't have to expand the tunnel on the golf course. And
I guess one of the challenges then is it doesn't help, pedestrians coming in from Country Club 3, track K, trying to walk across the 4-lane highway. That could be a problem. But anyway, thank you for that.
A lot of people are wondering what's going on with this. Can we get that gate, that track K gate, both ways? I mean, it opens up to this, wow.
That's Fazio?
Yeah.
People are asking about it, and I know when asked about
It's gonna be, they won't let us do it because, well, we don't have any control of it, but they won't let us do it because there's not enough distance between the road and the gate. There's got to be adequate turnaround is what they keep saying, which is why they've always said no.
Okay.
I have one more comment on the Bella Chilla side of the homeowners only entrance. Every time I come in, there's some guy who never sees a sign, must be blind as a bat, or they must be looking at the phone or something, and they'll come up there and they'll hold up everybody, and then they'll make a U-turn and go to try and sell at one of the other places. Well, the sign needs to be like a stop, like no entry sign. Put a no entry sign with a tiny thing under below which says homeowners only, because everybody will see the no entry sign, you can't miss that. And all the homeowners will know those homeowners are allowed through that.
You're giving them a lot of credit. You're giving them a lot of credit, I'm telling you. Because there's signs there and I point to them and say, look, and they're like.
They don't read it. So if you have a red sign that says no entry, they won't come.
Okay. I think Terry was saying that there's been a number of questions around what's happening opposite hole 6 and behind hole 7 in terms of the retreat sports facility. That is being built by Lennar as a retreat facility. There is going to be and they've reduced the significant amount of facilities that they were originally going to be building there in order to, make it so it's not as, there's not as much noise going on for the country club residents. So the last plan that I had a soccer field. They have a couple of volleyball courts and a sports gym with parking out front. So that was the latest plan that I received that Lennar gave to me, and that was some time ago now. That was May last year, so just about 10 months old.
And they've cleared that land now, right?
They've cleared, apparently I've not been over there for a few weeks.
They're starting to do something at least.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's full filled out.
So, yes.
Yeah, I have a question. I came in a little late, so I'm not sure if you covered this, but the gate at Fallen Oak that ran into the palm tree, all that, when is it going to be replaced?
Palm tree?
Yeah, there was a tree there too.
It was an oak tree and.
Oak tree, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was my understanding that the oak tree has been replaced. So I will,
Oh, it has been?
yeah, it was replaced this past week.
Oh, there's something missing there.
No, it's the little oak It's there.
It might be a smaller one than was there before.
Yeah, it's something missing.
Okay,
If you go through the gate and look there, you'll see where something was there.
okay.
Yeah, but the gate,
Okay.
when is the gate gonna be?
So that's done by, so the gate is under the Master Association. I can tell you that we are still currently waiting for the insurance money to come through from,
Geez.
yeah. So part of it's coming to the country club, part of it's going to the Master. Our portion is to cover the damaged mailboxes that we replaced,
Yeah.
and the Master's portion is to cover the gates. So
we've already paid for that. whereas
we've already
the
paid
Master
for
has
our
not.
portion, and I guess the Master has not. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it is coming. I get weekly updates from the insurance company that the person is working through. So it's coming. It's just a slow process, unfortunately.
So Marilyn, we seem to have a few more questions online.
So one of them is the north pool parking signs with a question mark.
So as part of the work I'll be doing with Stephanie before the comms go out, we'll be looking at the signage that's required for the North Pool about allowed parking during the day if you're using the pool and overnight parking. So we'll be working on that before parking gets updated.
I mean, just so Marilyn, so you know, I'm working on, and I'm sure I'll be working on this with Peter. We'll be putting out a big communication out to the homeowners once we're ready to roll everything out. There were just a lot of different things that had to come together. For instance, the towing contract, we had to receive the parking passes, which we just did. So we just have to get all of that communication out. So once we have all of the details in place, we'll be putting that communication together, and the residents will know when it's all rolled out.
Can you expand on that?
So last board meeting, the board approved a revised parking policy, which includes the ability to tow vehicles that are improperly parked on the road. Currently, previously, before that, we did not have a towing policy in place, so we were really unable to tow. But in order to start this new process, we have to have a few things in order. One is a contract with the towing company. So even though we're covered with the signage, like Peter stated, under the Master Association, we do have to have our own contract with the towing company. And we'll be giving them instructions on what to look for. So the towing company will be coming out at random times throughout the day and night, doing inspections, tagging improperly parked vehicles, and then towing them 24 hours later if they're still stickered. And then additionally, we are also going to start providing parking passes for residents to park on the street during specific hours of the day. So we had to order those parking passes. So homeowners will be able to purchase a pack of 40 parking passes that each year they'll be able to purchase up to 40 parking passes, or a packet of 40 parking passes. Those parking passes are valid for the next 3 years. And then anytime you have to park a guest on the street or your own vehicle on the street, you would put that hang tag in your window and then scratch off the date so we know that it's there for that valid date. Those parking passes will be good for specific hours during the day on the streets of the country club community, as well as for the parking lot at the golf club.
But it'll only be good for one day?
Correct. It'll be good for the day that you scratch off on the pass. So if you need to park on the street for multiple days, or if you have guests for multiple days, you'll have to use multiple passes.
So what's the price?
It's going to be $40 for a pack of 40 passes.
Any more questions online, Marilyn?
Yeah, so do we know when the new pool area is opening? I assume that's Oasis 2.
Well, they keep pushing the dates out. It was supposed to be opening the first quarter this year, but I assume I've been away for a few weeks, I'm assuming if it hasn't opened, then it's still delayed.
Yeah,
Still not, trying to get in there yesterday. It's still
not open? No. Okay.
Does Florida law permit video?
Oasis to the water park. Sorry,
Does
Marilyn.
Florida law permit video ticketing?
I have no idea. Why would we need to know that?
It was more along the lines of people speeding through the neighborhood, I guess. They could put cameras up. Question about, have we received the back dues from Lennar for the HOA?
We have billed them, and we've told them that they are, what's the word?
That they're what?
They are overdue.
Oh, yeah.
They are delinquent, that's the word I was looking for, thank you.
Yes.
We've told them that they are delinquent, that went out this week.
Yes, I sent them an invoice yesterday.
So we sent them an invoice, waiting for their response.
And the last one was the parking pass program for the street parking in front of homes or the designated spots in certain areas.
The pass program.
Maybe answer that one. So where we have on Country Club 4 and 5, where we have designated parking bays, they're open for parking use. The permit is when you're parked on the streets for during the day parking.
Okay.
And the one last
Sorry.
And the one last comment online is one of the residents thanked the board for their efforts.
Oh, thank you. We've got another question. Somebody's got another question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still on parking.
Oh.
So, like right now, they're digging up like the front of our homes, the curbs.
Yeah.
And so the gentleman, came over and said, hey, can you move your vehicle? Where am I gonna move it to? But if I move it to the street, if your parking thing was in effect, I wouldn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
Because I wouldn't be able to get out my driveway.
Understood. So I have that phone call with Lennar tomorrow about the curbing project that's happening.
Yeah, because it's a mess right now.
I know. Once I have all the details, I'm going to talk to the board, but there is going to have to be some sort of exception for the next week or two where cars will be parking on the street. So that will be an exception.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yes, sir.
Is there any update on how long it might be before the membership cards are available to get new memberships?
I wish. They're telling us next week we'll have the cards right now. I have no idea what the holdup is. We ordered new cards for the plaza almost 6 weeks ago. And because they are specially made, they're a specialty item specifically made for the plaza, it just takes very long for them to create them.
Okay. Any other questions before we close?
I know the frustration.
I'm sorry, I hope this will be my last question. I won't come next time. So the gate when we enter the country club over here.
The barriers.
Yes, it gets broken a lot. We've all noticed it, right? And I also noticed that there is something that looks like a camera positioned a little bit further. Is that a working camera? Do we catch the people who drive through the gates? Do we find them? Do we make them?
Good question. So the question is whether the gates have cameras on them, and if so, are we capturing the people who are damaging the gates and finding them? So I'm going to pass that over to you.
Thanks, Neil. Yes, so those are working cameras. They pick up license plates. Unfortunately, we don't have any control over the gates because they are run by the Master Association. So the people who have access to those cameras is the Master Association.
And they pay for the damage to the gates.
Yeah, and they pay for the damage, so if they have a policy.
We all pay because we pay the Master Association, but it's not the country club.
There's no consequence to people who are driving through the gates.
Because we're just.
Not by us.
Not by us.
Not by us, that would have to be consequenced by the master.
I know one of the responses I received, it must be 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, was that we don't want to go after those people that damage the gates because they may counter-sue us for damage to their vehicle caused by the gates. And that was one of the responses I got back from the Lennar board at that time. I know, it's ridiculous, but that was the response I got. One more, okay.
I was just wondering about the two, mountain homes and the K-track on Olympic Club Boulevard, are those going up for sale?
So these are the two Lennar on, well, there's four at the moment. There's the two on Bethpage and there's the two on Olympic Club. You know, the last time I spoke to Lennar, which is probably 2 months ago now, and I asked them about that, they said they were going to probably get rid of the ones on Bethpage, and I think they're constructing 2 new ones where the parking lot was. They said those were going to be focusing on selling those first. The ones on Olympic Club, they were going to maintain because they still had their sales team working out of those two.
Okay.
So I'm not sure when they're going to get rid of those.
Okay. And I was just wondering about the parking lot that's
That will be constructed into another home, that parking lot. Oh, yes. Yeah, that is a home there. So that will be constructed into a home. Yeah.
Just a quick update on that. I talked to the previous salesperson because we were actually looking at possibly seeing if we could buy those before we bought.
The Olympic Club or the Bethpage?
The one on the north.
The Bethpage.
Bethpage,
yeah.
And that they are trying to close both the models out and the 2 homes by the end of this quarter.
Okay. Yeah, good luck.
Craig McCaskill is the one who works for Lennar, and he called me last week too, saying they just got off a conference call and they're going to be doing the build outs on the one on K-Track soon to get them ready to sell.
Oh, really? Okay.
Everyone wants to buy them, Tom.
And that's good for us because once they've sold all of their properties within the country club, they no longer have any, I mean, not that they have interfered with the board decisions or any decisions we've made, but they no longer would have any ability to interfere with any decisions within the country club once they've no longer own any homes.
So there's no way we can have them keep their parking lot and use
yeah, I know. It would be nice for them to make it into like a playground or something, but unfortunately they want to build a house there and make some money on it. I've not had an update. Yeah. I mean, Terry asked me whether I could talk about the cart path, the request for us to look at a cart path from Track K to the Gulf. I had the Toho attorney come out and walk the path with me. That was probably 6 weeks ago. And he said he would look into it to see whether there was an option because Toho owned that land, and it would be a possibility for us to run a cart path along the Toho land. He's not come back to me. I've been away for a few weeks, but I'll follow up with him and see where he is with that. I know he was out to Mongolia or something on a nature trip, and then he said he'd get back to me when he got back. Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Okay.
Neil, is there any update on the master turnover?
I mean, again, I've been a little out of touch. I haven't heard anything, unless anybody else has.
I talked to Nina a few weeks ago. They were anticipating it to be in April, but I don't think that's been.
See, I mean, again, they're anticipating it in April, but they have to send, two things they have to do. One is change the declaration with regards to the board constitution in terms of the makeup of the board, unless they want 15 members on the board, which is the current way it would be structured. And that has to go through a legal process. And then they have to go out and ask for volunteers for the Master Association board members. All of that's going to take time. So I think April being round the corner, I suspect it will get pushed again. Any other questions? Anything online? No? All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn at 7:35?
Someone.
Second? Second. All those in favour?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, sir.
I have a question, please, for what you said a little bit ago.